What's going on, everyone? So, quick little intro here because we got a bunch of stuff in this video and I just want to kind of lay it all out. We have a 4-cylinder Mustang that I'm going to be documenting, which you saw in the intro. We have a vehicle that it's a 9th gen Civic. We replaced the supercharger on it, and now he's having some issues after storing it all winter long. We have a S300 Honda ECU that the customer sent back, said he was having some issues with. We have some dyno maintenance, some e-tuning, and we got some home air conditioning repair. So, like I said, there's a lot of stuff in this video, so just want to do a quick little intro. I appreciate everybody's comments. The feedback that I've been getting, thank you, motivates me to keep doing them. If anybody wants to see me cover anything specifically, I don't care if it's how a wastegate works, how a blowout valve works, or what's the job of a blowout valve, let me know. Nothing is, no questions are too stupid. I'm here to help, I'm here to educate, and hopefully you enjoy this video. First one up is this 4-cylinder turbo Mustang, and it has a giant turbo on it. So it might be hard to see in the video and compare it. Well, you can actually see the inlet of that thing. This one was in here a while ago. We did a lot of work on it, including switching over the complete wiring harness to haltech. It had a very, very, very ancient, old school ECU that never worked for the guy, if I recall correctly. I actually went to his house, looked over the car. He wanted me to check it out and see if it was something that we were capable of doing, and went to his house, checked it out, and rest is history. So it is back in here getting some more goodies. It is back up on the dyno. I'll say right now the biggest thing with this car, and I've told the owner before, is just how laggy the turbo is, and you'll hear it in the videos. You might not even be able to hear the turbo itself, just because of how it spools. So you pair up a super huge turbo with an engine that's not high compression, you're going to have turbo lag. His goal right now, he's shooting for about 400 horsepower. We're going to see if we can get to that or get around that. He's got some really, really nice parts on this thing. If you're not familiar with the Yoshi Fab, you can check them out. Really, really nice piece. That's about it. I'm going to hop inside. I'll get some videos and get back to you. We'll start with this one up first. So we're making good power. We're just a tad shy of his horsepower goal. We're gonna see if it wants to take any more boost. It does have an electronic boost controller. The problem that we're facing more so is the spring inside the wastegate is, I believe, 10 pounds. I have it on my notes. I just don't have the notes in front of me. We'll see if it wants a little more boost, if it likes it. If not, we'll just be a tad shy of his horsepower goal, but it's still making good power. I really wish, and I've expressed this concern with him before, I really, really wish he would go with a different turbo. And then this car is a prime candidate also to be on E85. But, it is what it is. I can only give my opinion, and more so, hey, I can show him a dyno sheet and tell him this is where your turbo would be spooling and where we'd be seeing the power and the difference. It's just this turbo comes on so late and so slow, and you know, it's not helping because it's a smaller displacement engine. But you know, it is what it is. So let's see what the boost controller wants to do, if it wants a little more boost in it. So ended up making a little bit more power, but it doesn't want any more boost. We're already high up there. You know, at this point, we're just going to be pushing the system and hoping that something's not going to fail, because we're at our limits as far as like the turbo and how it's set up. If we went with a different wastegate spring, we would probably be able to hold the wastegate shut a little bit longer. But right now we're doubling the spring pressure itself. It doesn't want to stay shut. At that point, it is what it is. I'm going to tell the customer what he can do to gain a little bit more power, but I will say at the same time, I know this customer fairly well. It's not all about power in a sense, and we're very, very close to his goals. And he's not, you know, he cruises his car a lot. It's not, you know, he doesn't track it and that stuff. So should be good for him. But like I said, if he wants a little bit more power, I'll have a list of stuff that he can do, change up, and get it back in. So we're sitting inside this 9th gen. Right now I took a data log. I'm on the side of the road, and we replaced the supercharger on it. If I recall correctly, I believe one of his family members replaced, they were changing something out, and I swear they put coolant inside the supercharger reservoir, which ultimately could have led to the supercharger failing. Nonetheless, we replaced the supercharger, pretty standard job, and the car didn't want to run right afterwards. So we tried to diagnose the problem. This customer does sit the car in storage over wintertime. He said last time something like this happened, it had bad gas, so we did replace the gas. Unfortunately, it was still doing it, and what I've come to the conclusion is that the O2 sensor is working. It's doing its job, but it's not reacting quick enough. It's basically being what I would call lazy. And so basically what happens is the O2 sensor, when it's supposed to make any changes or corrections in closed loop, it's reacting too slow, and then when it thinks it needs to make the change, it's doing it at the wrong time, causing the stumbling issue that we've seen. I'm diagnosing it right now and troubleshooting, and that's what it seems to be, is the problem. So we got this going on. It's just another random thing as I'm waiting in between tunes for stuff to get loaded up. I have to diagnose stuff like this. I have some other stuff that we're diagnosing in the shop. So, you know, it's a back and forth game. I'm not always constantly on the dyno if I have to diagnose problems like this. And, you know, the other thing, too, is when you start storing a car for long term, you know, wintertime, if you don't start it often, stuff like this tends to happen. Cars like to be driven. A car will actually have more problems in a sense after a long storage, just because, you know, electronic components like to be constantly ran, driven, opened up on it. You know, if you got a solenoid that's opening and closing, that's when we see a lot of problems after wintertime where, you know, stuff won't work, or guys will get a check engine light, stuff like that. So, you know, it is what it is. So while I'm in between here, I got an ECU I have to test. We shipped this out to a customer. He got back to us, said that it's, he said the S300 board was almost like sizzling. It was getting hot. So first initial quick inspection, when you open up the cover, you can smell something burnt. If you're not seeing it just yet, well, keep looking. So all our computers, before we send them out, are tested here. They're not only tested here, but if you want the free base map, we'll put a free base map on there for you. And if you don't want a base map, that's fine. We still have to put something on there to test it. Every computer that leaves here, it's tested. So when he was having an issue, I said, sure, you can send it back. We'll look at it, no charge. More than likely, I said, it's probably something going on with your car, a wiring issue. What you have to remember too is a lot of these cars, how old they're getting, and it only takes one wire to screw up a whole computer. So if you haven't seen the issue yet and haven't spotted it, you can pause the video right now. I'm about to show you exactly where it's at. And I will say, when we just retested it, it does connect like it should. It does everything it needs to do. but it will not data log anymore. So he damaged something, unfortunately. Did you see it yet? Right there. Right there, that pin is burnt up. You can see it from the leading down. If I recall correctly, I looked at the schematic. That, I think, is a ground. So then more than likely that ground is getting some power to it. You can see it's getting how it turned gold. So unfortunately in this circumstance, you know, there's nothing we can do. We're going to tell him to check his wiring. You know, I don't know necessarily if this screwed up the whole computer. As I said, it does communicate and talk. You just can't actually data log. So I don't know if it's just the S300 that's bad or the computer that's bad. Ultimately, we're going to see if he wants us to do anything else and check it out. If not, we'll send it back to him. So you got to be careful with your wiring. It only takes one wire to be swapped around or to be grounding out somewhere where it shouldn't be. And like I said, I think I looked at the schematic and I believe this was a ground. So a ground that's probably it's got some power to it, or it's a power wire that is grounding out. So it is what it is. It's unfortunate, but yeah. Yeah, so I just pulled up the schematic real quick. That's a sensor ground, so it has power going to it on his end, and it probably just fried up the board like that, got super hot, and you know, it's unfortunate, like I said. So we are now at home. I decided to go home for some dinner with the family. I'm doing some e-tunes before dinner. I actually need to run back to the shop too tonight, so I'll be there late. If you've dealt with me for e-tunes, I try to actually get people revisions 2 times a day. So if you can send it early enough in the day, if I send you one in the morning and then you send me a data log, I try to send you a revision at night. I try to. I can't always get 2 revisions back to you in a day. Usually my rule of thumb is you get 1 revision within a 24-hour span. Now I will say too, when you're sending data logs back and forth, at times the email will kick it into a spam folder. So as I tell customers, you know, if you don't hear anything back from me within a couple days, you know, just re-message me. So right now, just going over everything with this e-tune. Everything's looking pretty solid. We're still early on with the revision, so just getting fuel exactly where I want them to be, exactly 100%. And you know, that's it. I'm gonna send this guy back his revision and eat some dinner, and then run back to the shop tonight. And as I said before, if you missed my other videos on this, when I send you back a revision, I include exactly what I want the data logs to be. So there's never a point where you're just in the dark of what do I do now. And during the whole e-tuning process, I will also ask you questions. You know, how does the car feel? Are you feeling any kind of, you know, hiccup, stutters, anything like that? You know, keeping in mind, it is very hard to actually catch everything in an e-tune. Of course, I'm not sitting in the car. So, you know, in this instance, on this e-tune, I'm sending him back to revision right now. Everything's looking good. We're going to start creeping into it a little bit more, giving it a little bit more throttle. There's my cat. We're going to start giving it a little bit more throttle, slowly cross into in VTEC and do some more revisions, and then get back to a point where I'm going to send it to him and tell him, hey, do a wide open throttle pull now. We're ready. So, you know, you got to crawl before you walk. Sorry. Well, yeah, you got to crawl before you walk, and you definitely got to walk before you run. So my cat is fine. It is just it's that time of the month for her. So I was hoping to get a little bit more video, but one of the cars I wanted to feature that was supposed to be tuned, he forgot his tuning device at home, so that's actually been rescheduled, and I'll get that on the next video, which it's a brand new Integra. Wanted to show you guys really quick the brakes for the dyno. So if you ever watch some of my dyno pull videos or whatever, you can hear the dyno sometimes squeaks, and lately it does not want to stop as quick as it should be. So these are the brakes. See how thick they are, and they go underneath. Let me walk out really quick. So they go underneath here. You can see where they connect. One is right here. Oh, that just threw my phone for a loop. One is right there, the other one is right there on that side. And they are air operated. So when I release and step on the brake, well, give me 1 second and you'll actually see it. I'm gonna actually, I need somebody to help me hold the phone. So I have somebody inside that will press the button for me. Press it! Press it again. There you go. So you can see how the brake works. So this little ending, I just wanted to show you that, of course, there's always more stuff that has to be done here, not just speaking about customers' vehicles. You know, the dyno needs maintenance, our air compressors, our air lines, all that stuff. You know, it's when you have a business that continuously runs nonstop, it can seem like, you know, I won't say a little hiccup, but if something were to go down, it turns into a major issue. The other thing, too, I want to mention, and this might be for people that are, you know, maybe trying to start a business, trying to start something, or maybe you just feel like the world's constantly on your shoulders. You know, you finish one thing, it's another thing. You finish something, it's another thing. When you have a skill that people need, when they need something done or fixed, it's going to be like that constantly. I'm always trying to help other people out, and this one didn't make the clip for the last video I did, but last week it was super hot out. My mother's AC decided that it wanted to stop cooling the house. So after work, jetted over there, cleaned it. That didn't work, so jetted back there. We recharged the system. It seems to be holding now a lot better. You know, fingers crossed. We know that sooner or later she's going to need a new unit. I'm going to put these clips in there too at the very end. And I'll say, if you're still watching this, if you're trying and it seems like it's always one thing after another, just keep pushing. That's all you can do. Keep pushing, wake up, push again, and keep doing. Now, I will say at the same time, find at least some time for yourself. It's not selfish. Don't feel bad. If you got maybe a buddy that he calls himself a buddy, but he's only a buddy when he needs something, you know, don't feel bad telling these people no. You got to always make some time for yourself. And, you know who your true friends are when they're always around, and they're just not around when they need something. So, and of course, when the dyno stuff, dyno's constantly running, so it always needs to be maintained. And of course, my mother's air conditioning, my mother always comes first. It doesn't matter. Family's first. There's more to it outside of cars, and seeing how she has a difficult time breathing as it is, did not want that house to be extra hot for her. So fingers crossed we can get through this year with that AC unit and then upgrade next year. Appreciate everybody watching. Thank you, everybody that's been commenting. I see it. I try to comment back. It means a lot to me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day. So we're out here doing the AC repair now. We are low. Notice the lines were frozen over. Yesterday they were not. Hopefully Eric can get this thing working and going. Let's see what we got going on. Just another day here. So you can see we got the, this is the sealer. The sealer, this little guy right here. Hopefully this can seal it up and she can have some cold air coming out here.